Whoever came up with the MiBounds thing, y'all ate that up. Because rebounds, MiBounds, rebounds, keybounds, T-bounds, T-bound, anything that comes off that board, it's mine. It's mine. And a brand, that's 6 figures right there.
She trademarked a meme, dropped a triple-double, called herself the queen of rebounds, and yet, nobody's talking about her performance. Why? Because Angel Reese might be trapped in the very persona she built. The lashes, the slogans, the clapbacks, they've made her a brand. But the game? That's a different story. Critics say she's more gimmick than greatness. Fans are laughing, not cheering. Even her biggest moments get overshadowed by internet drama. So what happens when the brand outgrows the basketball? Is Angel Reese evolving or hiding behind the hype? This isn't just about MiBounds. It's about whether the clock is ticking. It started as a joke, a nickname tossed around on WNBA Twitter that quickly went viral. MiBounds. A clever jab at Angel Reese's habit of grabbing her own missed layups again and again and again. Every possession felt like a solo drill. Shot goes up, clangs off the rim, she grabs it, shoots again, misses again, grabs it, shoots, misses, grabs it. By the time she had 10 rebounds, 5 were from her own hands. It looked like stat padding in real time, and the internet had a field day. And just like that, MiBounds was born. But here's where things got weird. Instead of ignoring the joke or using it as motivation to silence the critics on the court, Angel Reese leaned into it hard. She didn't just embrace the term, she trademarked it legally. According to reports, Angel Reese LLC filed official paperwork to own the word MiBounds, turning a meme into a merchandise machine. Shirts, hats, posters, you name it. Suddenly, the insult wasn't just viral, it was for sale. On one hand, it's a savvy business move. Angel's got charisma, media presence, and an audience. In today's game, personality can be currency. And in a league like the WNBA, where players are often fighting for attention in a crowded sports market, she found a way to keep her name in headlines. But on the other hand, it raised serious questions. Because the MiBounds label wasn't celebrating dominance, it was mocking inefficiency. It didn't say, "I'm unstoppable." It said, "I miss so much. I rebound my own bricks." And when Angel decided to cash in on that narrative, fans were split. Was it clever branding or a complete misread of the moment? Critics say it's the latest example of Angel turning herself into a gimmick, that rather than fix the problem, she monetized the mockery. Instead of refining her game, she embraced the meme. And that hit differently because this wasn't something she created. The internet created MiBounds to clown her, not crown her. But Angel decided to turn the insult into a t-shirt. Some called it genius, others called it desperation. And while social media lit up with debates, one fact remained unchanged. Nobody was talking about her basketball. She could drop 10 rebounds, a flashy outfit, and a motivational tweet, but the focus always circled back to the brand, not the box score. MiBounds became more than a meme. It became a symbol of the line Angel Reese keeps walking, athlete or entertainer, hooper or headline. And just when it seemed like she was ready to prove herself with her game, something big happened. She finally recorded a real triple-double, but almost no one noticed. Because the gimmick was already louder than the game, it should have been the headline. It should have been on every sports page, every highlight reel, every post-game segment. Angel Reese recorded her first triple-double. Points, rebounds, assists double digits, a rare feat, a milestone moment.
Somebody came up to me and said that I had one more, and then she made it, and I knew somebody was going to get it because I knew they were going to make the shot. So we made a lot of great shots tonight, so I knew it was coming.
One of the youngest players in WNBA history to do it. And to be clear, this wasn't one of those accidental stat stuffers where you inflate your numbers off garbage time or inflated minutes. It was real, it was earned, it was legit. But here's the problem, nobody cared. The moment came and went like a whisper. No trending hashtags, no panel debates, no viral clips flooding social media. In fact, what people talked about more was her shooting percentage 28% from the field than the actual triple-double itself. It was as if her biggest statistical achievement got buried under the weight of her own image. Because when Angel Reese finally had a chance to shift the narrative, to force people to talk about her game, the reaction wasn't, "She's elite." It was, "She still can't shoot," or worse. Triple-double or not, she's still a joke. Let that sink in. She reached a milestone that only a handful of players in WNBA history have touched, and instead of applause, she got apathy. And the ones who did pay attention, they didn't celebrate, they dissected. Some called it a MiBounds special, as if her assists didn't count, or her hustle was meaningless. Others dismissed it entirely because of the efficiency issue. It didn't matter that she was facilitating plays, pulling down rebounds, and creating opportunities. The conversation had already moved on to MiBounds, to her latest clapback tweet, to her next hairstyle, to her next brand deal. Because in the minds of many fans, Angel Reese isn't an athlete anymore. She's content. And content, no matter how flashy, eventually burns out if there's nothing underneath. That triple-double should have been a reset button, a moment to silence the trolls. A reminder that yes, despite the noises, she can still ball. But it didn't land that way. Not because the performance wasn't worthy, but because the gimmick had grown louder than the game. And this is where the dilemma kicks in. How do you rebuild your reputation when your brand overshadows your box score? How do you get fans to focus on your game when you've trained them to watch your reactions instead? Angel had a golden opportunity to shift public perception with that triple-double. But the silence that followed spoke volumes, not because people hate her, but because the narrative has calcified she's the gimmick, not the game changer. And now, even when she plays well, no one's watching, no one's listening. They're waiting for the next catchphrase, the next t-shirt, the next social media meltdown. Because at this point, even her best basketball might not be enough to win the crowd back.
Your potential is through the roof. Your talent is through the roof. And we ain't never gonna put no limits on that. Okay, you created for everybody, you created for yourself, you rebounded, you defended. All that is who you are. All that is who you are for us. And all that is what we believe you can be for us night in and night out.
At some point, the conversation around Angel Reese stopped being about basketball and started being about everything else. Her lashes, her nails, the walk-in fits, the tweets, the TikToks, the slogans, the clapbacks, the Met Gala, the celebrity selfies, the viral interviews. It all became part of her presence, her appeal, her aura. But somewhere along the way, the actual game got left behind. And that's where the gimmick problem started. Because there's a difference between having a brand and being a brand. And Angel Reese? She's teetering dangerously close to becoming a full-time persona with a part-time stat sheet. The MiBounds trademark wasn't just a business move, it was a metaphor. It told the world that Angel wasn't just going to clap back at the criticism, she was going to capitalize on it. Control the joke before the joke controls you. It's a clever strategy in theory, but the problem? The brand she's building is based on being mocked. She's monetizing the punchline without changing the performance. That's not empowerment, that's survival mode. And when you start leaning into a version of yourself that was created to clown you, you stop being the star of the story. You become the character people expect you to be. That's the trap Angel's in now. The WNBA isn't just a league, it's a reputation economy. And while Caitlin Clark is stacking accolades and setting records, Angel is stacking catchphrases and trying to sell MiBounds hoodies. She's not competing with Clark anymore, she's competing with her own persona. Every time she claps back at a troll or trademarks a meme, she adds another layer to the caricature people already think she is. Because let's be real, if any other player in the league dropped a triple-double, people would be analyzing tape, breaking down highlights, praising growth. When Angel does it, the first question is, what's her field goal percentage? The second is, how long until she tweets something emotional? The gimmick is louder than the game. And the danger is that it might replace it entirely. It's the oldest trap in sports media. Be too entertaining and no one takes your performance seriously. Shaq dealt with it. Cam Newton dealt with it. Even Kyrie Irving, at the height of his powers, found his image overshadowing his output. But those guys had hard-wearings, MVPs, unforgettable moments. Angel's still trying to find her first defining WNBA performance. And until that happens, her critics will keep saying what they've been saying all year. She's not playing basketball, she's playing the internet. It's a tough balance. The league needs personalities. They need marketable stars who can cut through the noise and sell tickets. But they also need production. And when the two don't line up, it's only a matter of time before the gimmick gets stale. Because eventually, fans stop clicking for catchphrases. They click for results. And right now, Angel's brand is outperforming her box score. The question is, can she flip the script? There's a theory floating around. One that fans whisper on Reddit threads, podcasters hint at without saying directly, and critics scream on social media. Angel Reese isn't just flashy, she's insecure. And whether you believe it or not, the signs are there. Let's look at the pattern. After almost every game, good or bad, Angel is back online. Not celebrating the win, not breaking down her performance, but responding. Responding to trolls, to critics, to shade. She tweets about haters. She posts TikToks aimed at the doubters. She likes comments defending her from imaginary enemies. It's not confidence, it's defensiveness. And while fans praise her for clapping back or owning the narrative, others are asking a different question. Why does she need to respond so much? Because here's the uncomfortable truth: greatness doesn't seek validation. Take Caitlin Clark. While Angel's triple-double was buried under memes and side-eye, Clark was quietly tying records and hitting logo threes with no victory laps on Instagram. No bikini thirst traps. No subtweets, just buckets. And when Clark does post, it's usually highlights, stats, work. She lets her game do the talking because it's loud enough on its own. And that contrast? It's driving Angel Reese crazy. She knows it. You can hear it in interviews, see it in body language, feel it in every emotional post-game moment. She was the talk of college basketball for a full year, national champion, NIL queen, Bayou Barbie, and now she's in the shadow of someone who doesn't even try to be in the spotlight. That's gotta sting. It's not a question of talent. Angel is gifted, she's athletic, she's tough, but being tough and feeling secure are two very different things. And right now, Angel's whole public persona screams a player who's trying to convince the world she's confident because she doesn't fully believe it herself. Why else trademark a meme created to mock you? Why else post "I'm the queen of rebounds" videos when you're struggling to score? Why else constantly respond to hate if the hate isn't hitting home? This isn't about social media savviness, it's about identity. The loudest one in the room, as the quote goes, is often the weakest one. Not because they don't have power, but because they feel like they have something to prove. And Angel? She's been shouting from the moment she got to the WNBA. From her Met Gala moment, to her $8,000 rent tweet, to her on-court taunts, everything feels dialed up to 11. But the performance doesn't match the volume. That gap that disconnects us, where insecurity lives. And it's starting to affect how the public sees her. No one faults a player for being emotional. But when emotion becomes the headline, and your stats get left out of the conversation, the problem isn't the haters, it's how much they're living rent-free in your head. Angel Reese wants to be great, that much is clear. But right now, she seems more focused on looking like a star than playing like one. And as the WNBA grows, as Clark keeps rising, and as new rookies emerge, the space for gimmicks and insecurity is shrinking. Every gimmick has a shelf life. That's not just a reality of sports, it's a law of entertainment. You can go viral, you can trend, you can trademark every punchline on the internet. But sooner or later, the crowd asks one thing: what else you got? That's the question Angel Reese is now facing. The MiBounds hype was funny for a week. The clapbacks got likes. The Met Gala buzz drew headlines. But lately, the noise feels different. Louder? Sure, but not in a good way. Because now the question isn't, what will Angel Reese say next? It's, why is she still talking? The gimmick is starting to wear thin. It's not because people hate her. It's not even because she isn't talented. It's because she hasn't evolved. She hasn't added layers to the story. Her game hasn't caught up to the character. And when that happens, the same media that built you up will start to peel you apart. Look around the league. Caitlin Clark has adapted. Under pressure, under attack, under expectations, he's added to her game every week. Rookie of the month, leading her team, breaking records. And she's doing it all while staying quiet, focused, and deadly consistent. Meanwhile, Angel's identity still revolves around the same three pillars. 1. Being underestimated. 2. Clapping back at the haters. 3. Selling the Barbie brand. But here's the problem: she's not underestimated anymore. Everyone knows who she is, and at this level, that means they're scouting you harder, analyzing your weaknesses, exploiting every flaw. You're not the surprise anymore, you're the target. And if your game doesn't grow, you get left behind. The gimmick that once made Angel stand out is starting to box her in. She's cornered herself into this one-dimensional character: sassy, petty, hyper-emotional, always on defense. That might sell t-shirts, but it doesn't win games. It doesn't build legacy. Worse, it starts to alienate fans who wanted to root for her. Remember when she was the underdog hero of LSU? The unapologetic champion who stood tall in the face of criticism? That version of Angel felt powerful, relatable, raw. But now, the narrative's twisted. She's no longer fighting the system, she's fighting shadows on the internet, imaginary haters, and her own insecurities. And if the gimmick becomes predictable, people stop clicking. People stop caring. Because attention is currency, but only if you keep delivering value. Right now, Reese is cashing checks off a brand that hasn't evolved since college. And in a league desperate for growth and credibility, that's a dangerous game. Especially with new stars emerging who bring the personality and the performance. The Angel Reese brand was brilliant for a season. But now it feels like reruns. And the harsh truth? If she doesn't find a way to evolve beyond the gimmick, if she doesn't anchor the hype in real, undeniable production, the spotlight won't fade, it'll just move. There's still time. That's the part people forget. Angel Reese is only 22. She's in her rookie season. She's adjusting to pro-level play, a faster game, bigger bodies, smarter defenses. And while the internet might already be writing her off as a gimmick, the truth-ish could still flip the entire narrative. But it's going to take more than branding. Because what Angel Reese is facing right now isn't just about basketball. It's about identity, legacy, direction. And the first step to shifting public perception isn't another TikTok or slogan, it's transformation. Let's be honest, she's already won the media game. She's got deals, she's got headlines, she's got millions of followers. She's doing things most rookies only dream about. But now, the spotlight is a magnifying glass. And what it's revealing? A player who might be more focused on staying relevant than on getting better. So how does she change that? It starts with the court. She doesn't need to be Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need to hit logo threes or set scoring records. But she does need to dominate in her way. That means defense, rebounding, finishing strong around the rim, getting her shooting percentage above 30%, making smart, unselfish plays, letting her hustle do the talking. Because if the performance speaks loudly enough, the branding will write itself. Next, silence. Not forever, but long enough to make people miss the basketball player Angel Reese, not just the character. The constant tweets, the clapbacks, the subtweets, they've become a distraction. Worse, they've made it hard for people to take her seriously. Imagine what would happen if she just disappeared for a week and came back with a 20-point, 15-rebound statement game. People would listen, because silence builds suspense. And right now, mystery might be the best thing she has left to weaponize. She also needs to reclaim control of the narrative, not through defense but through transparency. Maybe it's an interview, maybe it's a docuseries, maybe it's just an honest post. But if Angel Reese came forward and said, "Yeah, I hear the criticism, and here's what I'm working on," that would be powerful. Because the most dangerous version of Angel Reese isn't the loudest one. It's the one who listens, adapts, and strikes back with performance instead of slogans. She already has the attention. What she needs now is respect. And if she's serious about becoming one of the WNBA's faces, not just its trending topic, then this next chapter needs to be different. Not louder, not flashier, better. Because the gimmick won't last forever. But greatness? That never goes out of style. Angel Reese is standing at a crossroads. She can double down on the gimmick or rise above it. She can let the internet define her, or she can redefine herself on the court. The spotlight won't wait forever, and neither will the fans. Because in a league fighting for attention, performance is the only currency that counts. The question isn't whether Angel Reese can flip the narrative, it's whether she's willing to do the work to make it real. Because if she doesn't evolve now, someone else will take the stage she built.